Does anyone out there have a stupid husband who does stupid things? I am one of those husbands. I'm going to tell a bit of a story now about tissue damage and pain and how the two relate very, very poorly. Now let's wind the clock back about 3 years ago. I got up early one morning. It was -1 outside. It was freezing cold. I decided to try and light the fire. Now the kindling was a little bit wet. So the light bulb went off in my head and I thought, I could use some metho to get this thing going. We didn't have any firelighters. So I put a bit of metho, lit it up, and unfortunately it blew up all in my hand and had fire all the way over my face and my hands, and it created some severe burns. So once I actually put out the fires in my pajamas and face and hands, my hand, I could see that it was starting to blister up. There wasn't pain straight away. I was more worried about what would people think, how will I work, how stupid am I? And then after putting it under water for a while, the pain started to ramp up. And within an hour, the pain was severe. A good 9 out of 10 pain. Tissues were breaking down, lots of receptors were being activated. That's combined together with my thoughts about how stupid I was, how much of an idiot I was. And I got taken down to the emergency department. When I went to emergency, they were there cutting the blisters off my left hand. And I remember my wife was sitting in the corner and she goes, I thought you said pain was all in your head. And at that moment, I'm in 9 out of 10 pain and I'm trying to explain things through this fancy neuroscience. And I gave up at that point because the pain was too bloody intense. But the interesting part about that was, once they'd removed the blisters, wrapped up the hand, I left the hospital. And even though there was still severe damage going on, I was in no more pain. And from that point on, I had no more pain with my hand. Even though there was severe damage, there was lots of tissues breaking down, my hand would have taken many, many weeks to heal. I had no more pain from that point on. So it was a little bit challenging to call up my 50 patients the following week, and I went through the list and it took me about 3 or 4 hours because everyone knows me pretty well. And they took it upon themselves to take the piss out of me for about 3 hours. When I called up the final bloke, he's answered the phone with, Matt the firefighter. I've used a few swear words and I've just hung up the phone. By that stage, a little bit frustrated. So the next week at the clinic, people were dropping off firelighters and kindling. Yeah, it wasn't probably my greatest moment. But with saying that, within a week, I was putting 60 kilo of force through my hand at the gym. I was wrapping it up and just kept on going. I wasn't actually in any pain at all. So what we're seeing there is this notion of pain and damage doesn't always correlate. There's a lot of other factors for why we are in pain. But you're thinking this is the end of the story. This bloke can't do any more stupid things, right? So let's fast forward 8 weeks after I burnt my hand. And there was a tree fern up against the side of the house. I could have spent hours digging that tree fern out. But why would I do that when I've got a brand new winch on the front of my car? So I hooked up the winch around the tree fern, ripped it out of the ground. So far, haven't hurt myself. As I was winding on the last bit of the winch rope, my finger got caught up against the car and the rope and it chopped the top off my finger. Now, I was in no pain. I withdrew my finger and I was looking at it with a mindful eye going, oh, that's not very good. It's only a bit of a cut, she'll be right. So I drove myself down to emergency and I had my hand wrapped up. And I was not stressed at all, I was in no pain. I knew it was pretty bad, I would probably need some surgery or something, but I was pretty relaxed about it. Because I'd been through it before with the hand and yeah, she'll be right. So I pulled up to the local hospital and because my finger was wrapped up like this, as I was putting the car into park, I ran my finger fair square into the dashboard. So the top of the finger where it was really damaged. So there were lots of receptors being activated. My vision, which is a very powerful sensory channel, would have seen it. And my body's concluded that causing pain here is a great idea because we have to tell this idiot, don't do that again. So I went into emergency. And when I walked in, the triage nurse was one of my patients. Hi Matt, how are you going? Oh yeah, going well, just chopped the top off my finger. Oh, that's not good, Matt. And I went, yeah, you know, these things happen. And she goes, unwrap it because we want to have a bit of a look at it. And I said, we don't need to do that. I took a photo of it before I wrapped it. And she says, oh, that's a really intelligent thing to do, Matt. I went, yeah, I know, I'm quite intelligent. So I went into emergency and straight away they knew I needed surgery and skin grafts on the finger. So they needed a lot of skin, so they actually took it from my bum and stretched it right over the top of the finger. So now I'm going to have all these hairs growing out the end of my finger. Or maybe they just took it from my wrist. Yep, it was probably the wrist. So after the surgery, I was in about 3 or 4 hours of pain. But then after that, I was in no more pain. So before the surgery, I was in no pain, even though there was severe damage for the finger. After the surgery, it was only for a little bit of time, and that was probably because I'd been in for surgery. I knew plenty of clients that have had bad experiences at that hospital. They debrided a lot of tissue, they were stitching, they were putting on skin grafts. So there were lots of reasons why my body chose to create pain. But then after a few hours, the pain was gone and I was back pain-free again. So that took another 6 to 8 weeks to heal. Why am I telling you these stories? These stories are evidence to me that this relationship between how much damage we have in the body and pain is actually very, very poor. That the information coming up from our body is just information, and our body is scrutinizing the information. And if it thinks your body is under threat and in need of protecting, pain may be produced for your protection. But your body is also evaluating, is it biologically advantageous at this moment to cause pain, to change your behavior? And there are plenty of occasions where you can have damage and no pain because the body perceives that that's not going to move you forward. It's not going to protect you. So pain is this emergent process of information from our body, from our thoughts, feelings, memories, beliefs, scrutinizes it together, and your body will decide on the best way to protect you. And pain is just one of those many protective outputs. And after the finger surgery, I remember I was walking through the schoolyard, and there were kids throwing balls, there were kids running everywhere. And at that moment, my protective bubble that my body was creating around the finger got enlarged. So I was then hyper aware of any threat that might come anywhere near the finger. So my body wasn't choosing to cause pain at that moment, it was actually causing me to become hyper aware of the space which surrounded my finger. And that was another protection response. And then for the next few weeks, there remained that bit of a bubble around the finger that would change in size depending on the context and the situation that I was in. So I hope you enjoyed the story, and yes, I'm another stupid husband who does stupid things.